What if I told you that one small habit, something as simple as eating a handful of pistachios every day for just 1 week, could quietly change how your body feels, thinks, and functions, not in a dramatic, overnight miracle way? Not in a lose 10 pounds instantly kind of promise, but in a real, biological, surprisingly powerful way that most people never talk about, because what happens when you eat pistachios daily isn't what you think. Here is an expanded version of Key Point 1 at tilde 700 words, written in a motivational, educational speech style, safe and realistic for a general audience. Key Point 1, natural appetite control without dieting. One of the most surprising things that happens when you eat pistachios daily for just 1 week is not weight loss, detox, or instant energy. It's something far more powerful and far more sustainable. Your appetite begins to regulate itself naturally. Most people believe hunger is a personal failure. They think overeating means lack of discipline, weak willpower, or poor motivation, but hunger is not a character flaw. Hunger is a biological signal, and when your body isn't receiving proper nutrition, it will continue to demand more food, often in the form of sugar, refined carbs, or ultra-processed snacks. This is where pistachios quietly change the game. Pistachios contain a rare and effective combination of plant protein, dietary fiber, and healthy unsaturated fats. Each of these nutrients plays a different role in appetite control, but together they send a powerful message to your brain. We are nourished, we are safe, and we do not need to keep searching for food. Protein helps stimulate hormones that promote fullness. Fiber slows digestion and keeps food moving steadily through the gut. Healthy fats delay stomach emptying and help stabilize blood sugar. When all three are present in the right balance, cravings begin to lose their grip. This is why, within the first 1 or 2 days of eating pistachios, many people notice something unusual. They aren't constantly thinking about food. They don't feel the urge to snack every hour. They stop reaching for sweets late at night, not because they are forcing themselves to stop, but because the desire simply isn't as strong. This is not dieting, this is nutritional signaling. Another overlooked reason pistachios help control appetite is the act of eating them itself. Pistachios are often eaten from the shell, which naturally slows down consumption. This gives your brain time to receive fullness signals from your gut. When you eat slowly, your body has a chance to say, "That's enough." Modern processed foods are designed to do the opposite. They are soft, fast, and easy to overconsume before your brain even realizes what's happening. Pistachios restore a more natural eating rhythm, one that your body understands. There's also the issue of blood sugar. Sudden spikes and crashes in blood sugar are one of the biggest drivers of hunger and cravings. Pistachios have a low glycemic impact, meaning they don't cause sharp blood sugar rises. Instead, they help keep energy levels steady, which prevents the intense hunger that often appears shortly after eating refined carbohydrates. By the third or fourth day, this stability becomes noticeable. Meals feel more satisfying, portions naturally get smaller, snacking becomes optional instead of automatic. This is not because pistachios suppress hunger, but because they support proper hunger signaling. And this distinction matters. Suppressing hunger leads to rebound eating. Supporting hunger regulation leads to balance. What makes this even more powerful is that pistachios don't create fear around food. They don't teach restriction. They don't demand perfection. Instead, they add nourishment, and when nourishment increases, chaos decreases. By the end of the week, many people realize something important. They are no longer fighting their appetite. They are working with it. This is why long-term health is never built on extremes. It's built on foods that communicate safety and nourishment to the body. Pistachios do exactly that. They don't trick your metabolism. They respect it, and when the body feels respected, it responds with cooperation, not resistance. The real lesson of eating pistachios daily for 1 week isn't about the nut itself. It's about understanding that hunger is information. When you respond to it with real food instead of empty calories, your body recalibrates. No rules, no guilt, no obsession, just a calmer, more balanced relationship with food. one handful at a time. If you want, I can now expand key point 2 to 700 words, turn this into a 33-35-minute full speech, create SEO descriptions, timestamps, hashtags, and tags. Just tell me what you'd like next. Here is key point 2 expanded to 700 words, written in the same motivational, educational speech style, clear, safe, and realistic. Key point 2, improved gut health through probiotic fiber. When people think about gut health, they usually imagine digestion alone, whether food moves smoothly or causes discomfort. But the gut is far more than a digestive tube. It's a living ecosystem, home to trillions of bacteria that influence immunity, inflammation, metabolism, and even how you feel mentally and emotionally. And this is where eating pistachios daily for just 1 week begins to create changes that most people never expect. Pistachios are naturally rich in probiotic fiber. Probiotics are not bacteria themselves. They are the food for beneficial gut bacteria. When you consume probiotics, you are not feeding yourself directly. You are feeding the microscopic allies inside you that do critical work every single day. In modern diets, these beneficial bacteria are often undernourished. Highly processed foods, refined sugars, and low-fiber meals starve the gut microbiome. When good bacteria struggle, harmful bacteria gain ground, leading to bloating, irregular digestion, inflammation, and weakened immune defenses. Pistachios gently reverse this trend. Within the first few days of daily consumption, the fiber in pistachios reaches the colon, where beneficial bacteria ferment it. This process produces compounds that support the gut lining, improve nutrient absorption, and help maintain a balanced internal environment. You may notice subtle signs. Digestion feels smoother, bloating becomes less frequent, meals feel easier on your system. These changes don't come from laxatives or harsh cleanses. They come from restoring balance. One of the most important roles of a healthy gut is protecting the intestinal barrier. When this barrier is compromised, unwanted substances can enter the bloodstream, triggering low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Supporting gut bacteria helps maintain this barrier, which quietly protects your entire system. What's fascinating is that the gut doesn't work in isolation. It constantly communicates with the brain through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. When gut bacteria are supported, they help produce compounds involved in mood regulation and stress response. This is why people often report feeling more settled when their digestion improves, not euphoric, not dramatically different, just calmer, clearer, more grounded. By day 4 or 5, many people realize that their stomach isn't constantly demanding attention. There's less discomfort, less heaviness, and fewer unpredictable digestive reactions. This creates mental space. When digestion isn't a daily struggle, energy can be directed elsewhere. Another overlooked benefit of pistachios is the diversity they support in the gut microbiome. A diverse microbiome is a resilient microbiome. It adapts better to stress, diet changes, and environmental challenges. Fiber-rich whole foods like pistachios encourage this diversity naturally. And again, the key word here is naturally. There's no forcing. No shocking the system, no extreme protocols, just daily nourishment. Many people chase gut health through expensive supplements while continuing to eat foods that undermine it. Pistachios demonstrate a simpler truth. When you regularly feed beneficial bacteria, they begin to do their job more effectively. By the end of the week, you may not be thinking about your gut at all, and that's actually the goal. A healthy system doesn't demand constant attention. It works quietly in the background, supporting digestion, immunity, and overall comfort. The deeper message here is not about pistachios alone. It's about recognizing that your body is an ecosystem. When you care for it consistently, it responds with stability instead of chaos. Gut health isn't built in a day, but it can begin to shift in a week, and pistachios, simple as they are, provide the kind of nourishment your gut understands and responds to. Because when you feed the gut well, it feeds the rest of you silently, steadily, and powerfully. If you want, I can now expand key point 3 energy and blood sugar stability to 700 words, combine all key points into a full 30-35-minute speech, create timestamps, SEO description, hashtags, and tags. Just let me know what you'd like next. Here is key point 3 expanded to 700 words, continuing the same motivational, educational speech tone. Key point 3. Steady, crash-free energy levels, not the stimulant kind. When most people hear the word energy, they immediately think of stimulation. Coffee, sugar, energy drinks, or quick carbs that hit fast and fade even faster. That kind of energy feels powerful at first, but it always comes with a cost: crashes, irritability, brain fog, and deeper fatigue later. Eating pistachios daily for 1 week creates a very different kind of energy, one that doesn't shout, doesn't spike, and doesn't collapse. It stabilizes. This is important because most modern fatigue isn't caused by lack of calories. It's caused by unstable blood sugar and poor nutrient signaling. When blood sugar rises too quickly and falls too sharply, the brain interprets it as an emergency. Hunger increases, focus drops, mood becomes unpredictable. Pistachios help interrupt this cycle. They contain a balanced combination of healthy fats, plant protein, fiber, magnesium, and vitamin B6, nutrients that support energy production at the cellular level. Instead of forcing the body into a temporary high, pistachios help the body produce and use energy more efficiently. Within the first few days, many people notice something subtle but meaningful. They don't feel the same mid-day crash. They don't reach for caffeine out of desperation. Their focus lasts longer without effort. This happens because pistachios slow the absorption of carbohydrates and help regulate glucose entry into the bloodstream. When glucose enters gradually, insulin responses remain balanced, and cells receive a steady supply of fuel instead of an overwhelming surge. This steadiness is what the brain loves most. The brain uses a significant portion of the body's energy, and it functions best when fuel supply is predictable. When energy is stable, concentration improves, decision-making becomes easier, and mental fatigue eases. Another key player here is magnesium, a mineral many people are deficient in. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of biochemical reactions related to energy production and nervous system function. Pistachios provide magnesium in a form the body recognizes and uses efficiently. Vitamin B6 also plays a role by helping convert food into usable energy and supporting neurotransmitter balance. When these systems are supported, energy feels calmer, cleaner, and more reliable. By day 4 or 5, many people realize something important. They aren't pushing through the day anymore. Energy stops feeling like something you chase and starts feeling like something that's simply there, and this is where expectations often get challenged. People expect pistachios to make them feel hyped. But what they actually do is remove friction. They reduce the internal stress that drains energy in the first place. Less blood sugar chaos means fewer stress signals. Better nutrient delivery means cells don't have to struggle. Balanced energy means the nervous system can relax instead of staying on high alert. This also impacts sleep quality. When daytime energy is stable, the body maintains a healthier circadian rhythm. People often report falling asleep more easily and waking up less groggy. Not because pistachios are sedating, but because the body isn't exhausted from repeated energy crashes. What's powerful here is that pistachios don't override the body's natural rhythms. They support them. There's no forcing, no artificial stimulation, no borrowing energy from tomorrow. By the end of the week, the biggest change isn't how much energy you have, but how predictable it feels. You trust it, and that trust changes behavior. When energy is stable, people make better food choices, move more naturally, and feel less reactive. Fatigue no longer controls the day. The deeper lesson is this: true energy isn't created by stimulation. It's created by stability. Pistachios don't act like fuel dumped on a fire. They act like a steady current powering the system quietly and consistently. And when the body receives energy this way, it doesn't burn out, it endures. That's the kind of energy that supports long-term health, focus, and resilience. Not dramatic, not flashy, just real and sustainable. If you want, I can next expand key point 4 heart health to 700 words, expand key point 5 inflammation and cellular protection, or assemble all expanded points into a full 30-35-minute speech. Just tell me what you'd like to continue with. Here is key point 4 expanded to 700 words, written in the same calm, motivational, educational speech style. Key point 4. Quiet but powerful support for heart health. When people think about improving heart health, they usually imagine dramatic changes, intense workouts, strict diets, or medications taken after a problem appears. What rarely gets attention is the quiet, daily nutrition that protects the heart long before warning signs ever show up. Eating pistachios daily for 1 week begins supporting your heart in exactly that quiet way. The heart doesn't need hype, it needs consistency, balance, and protection from long-term stress. Pistachios provide this through a combination of nutrients that work together to support cardiovascular function without forcing the body into extremes. One of the most important of these nutrients is potassium. Potassium plays a key role in maintaining healthy blood pressure by helping balance sodium levels and supporting proper muscle contraction, including the heart muscle itself. Many modern diets are low in potassium and high in sodium, creating unnecessary strain on the cardiovascular system. Adding pistachios helps gently restore that balance. Within a few days, this improved mineral balance supports smoother blood vessel function. Blood flows more efficiently. The heart doesn't have to work as hard to do its job. You won't feel this happening, but your body benefits from it every moment. Another major factor is the type of fat pistachios contain. Unlike processed foods high in harmful fats, pistachios are rich in unsaturated fats, which support healthy cholesterol balance. These fats help maintain flexibility in blood vessels and support the transport of fat-soluble nutrients. It's important to understand this clearly. Cholesterol itself is not the enemy. Imbalance and inflammation are. Pistachios help address both. They contain natural antioxidants, including polyphenols and vitamin E, which help protect blood vessels from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress damages vessel walls over time, contributing to stiffness and reduced elasticity. When vessels lose flexibility, the heart must pump harder to move blood through the body. By supporting antioxidant defenses, pistachios help maintain a healthier vascular environment, one that allows the heart to work efficiently rather than aggressively. By day 4 or 5, you may notice indirect signs of this support. Feeling less heavy after meals, more comfortable breathing during daily activity, a general sense of ease in the body. These aren't dramatic symptoms, but they're meaningful. Heart health isn't about sudden improvements. It's about reducing daily strain. Another often overlooked benefit of pistachios is how they support blood sugar stability, which directly affects cardiovascular health. Frequent blood sugar spikes increase inflammation and place additional stress on blood vessels. As pistachios help stabilize glucose levels, they indirectly reduce this stress on the heart. This is why heart health can never be separated from overall metabolic health. The heart responds not only to exercise, but to what happens after every meal. Pistachios help make those moments easier on the system. There's also a psychological element here that matters more than people realize. When nutrition supports the heart consistently, the nervous system relaxes. The body spends less time in a low-grade stress response. Heart rate variability improves, recovery improves. This doesn't feel like excitement. It feels like calm, and calm is one of the most protective states for the heart. By the end of the week, most people don't feel like their heart has changed. Instead, they feel more balanced, less reactive, more steady. That's because pistachios don't try to control the heart. They support the environment the heart operates in. That distinction matters. Health is rarely built by force. It's built by nourishment that reduces friction. Pistachios don't promise instant results. They offer daily protection, and when that protection is repeated, day after day, week after week, the heart responds by doing what it's meant to do: beat strongly, efficiently, and reliably. The real message of this key point isn't just about pistachios. It's about understanding that your heart is listening to every daily choice you make, not just the big ones, but the small, repeated ones. A simple handful of pistachios may not feel heroic, but for the heart, it's exactly the kind of quiet support that makes a lifelong difference. If you want, I can next expand key point 5, inflammation and cellular protection, to 700 words, expand key point 6, habit formation and long term health, or compile all expanded sections into one complete long form speech. Just let me know how you'd like to continue. Here is key point 5 expanded to 700 words, written in the same motivational, educational, calm speech style with realistic health framing. Key point 5: reduced inflammation and cellular protection from the inside out. One of the most misunderstood processes in the body is inflammation. People often think inflammation is always bad, something to eliminate completely, but inflammation itself is not the enemy. It's a natural response designed to protect and repair the body. The real problem is chronic, low-grade inflammation, the kind that quietly damages cells over time without obvious symptoms. And this is where eating pistachios daily for 1 week begins to make a difference that most people never expect. Pistachios don't shut down inflammation. They help the body resolve it properly. Modern lifestyles expose the body to constant inflammatory triggers: processed foods, unstable blood sugar, environmental stress, poor sleep, and mental overload. When inflammation never fully turns off, cells remain under stress, recovery slows down, and aging accelerates. Pistachios help interrupt this cycle by supplying natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that protect cells while supporting normal repair processes. They contain polyphenols, carotenoids, vitamin E, and other phytonutrients that neutralize excess oxidative stress. Oxidative stress occurs when unstable molecules damage cell membranes, proteins, and DNA. Over time, this damage contributes to stiffness, fatigue, poor recovery, and reduced resilience. By providing antioxidant support, pistachios help reduce the background noise that keeps the body in a constant state of defense. This doesn't feel dramatic, it feels like relief. Within a few days, many people notice subtle changes: less heaviness after meals, improved physical recovery, reduced sensitivity to stress. These aren't signs of suppression. They're signs of balance returning. Another key factor is how pistachios support healthy fat metabolism. Inflammation is often fueled by damaged fats and unstable blood sugar. The unsaturated fats in pistachios are more resistant to oxidative damage and help replace poor quality fats in the diet. This improves the quality of cell membranes, making cells more resilient to stress. Healthy cell membranes matter because every signal, hormonal, metabolic, neurological, depends on them. When membranes are damaged, communication breaks down. When they're protected, the entire system functions more smoothly. This is why inflammation is not just about joints or muscles, it's about cellular communication. By day 4 or 5, many people feel less reactive physically and mentally. Stress doesn't hit as hard. Minor discomfort doesn't linger as long. The body appears more capable of returning to baseline after challenges. That's what true anti-inflammatory support looks like. It's also important to understand that pistachios don't work in isolation. They improve inflammation indirectly by stabilizing blood sugar, supporting gut health, and reducing oxidative stress simultaneously. These systems are interconnected. When one improves, the others follow. Chronic inflammation thrives on chaos. Pistachios introduce order. Another overlooked benefit is how reduced inflammation affects long long-term health. Cells that experience less oxidative damage age more slowly. Tissues recover more efficiently. The immune system becomes more precise instead of overreactive. This doesn't make you feel invincible. It makes you feel durable, and durability is one of the most important traits of health. By the end of the week, many people realize they don't feel inflamed anymore, but they also realize they never knew how much background tension they were carrying. When inflammation quiets down, the body feels lighter, clearer, and more cooperative. Not because something was forced out, but because the environment inside the body became safer. That's the deeper lesson here. Inflammation isn't defeated through aggression, it's resolved through nourishment. Pistachios don't act like a medicine that overrides symptoms. They act like a signal to the body that it has what it needs to repair, regulate, and protect itself. And when the body receives that signal consistently, it responds with calm instead of conflict. This is why small daily choices matter so much. They don't just affect how you feel today, they influence how your cells experience time. A handful of pistachios may seem insignificant, but at the cellular level, it's a message of support, stability, and protection. And over time, those messages shape the body far more than any extreme intervention ever could. If you want, I can next expand key point 6, habit formation and long-term change to 700 words, compile all expanded key points into one complete long-form speech, create YouTube SEO content, timestamps, hashtags, and tags. Just tell me what you'd like to do next. Here is key point 6 expanded to 700 words, completing the series in the same motivational, educational speech style. Key point 6, habit formation that creates long-term health, the real transformation by the end of 1 week of eating pistachios daily. The most important change isn't something you can measure with a scale, a mirror, or a lab test. The real change is behavioral, and behavior is where long-term health is either built or slowly lost. Most people approach health through short bursts of intensity. They try strict diets, extreme routines, or quick fixes designed to shock the body into change. These approaches often produce temporary results, but they rarely last because they fight human behavior instead of working with it. Pistachios do the opposite. They create a small, repeatable habit that fits naturally into daily life. And when a habit is easy, it gets repeated. When it gets repeated, it becomes automatic. That's when transformation begins. Eating pistachios daily doesn't feel like discipline. It feels like a simple choice, and that matters because the brain resists deprivation but responds well to addition. When you add something nourishing to your day, it often displaces something less supportive without effort. A pistachio snack replaces ultra-processed snacks. A balanced option replaces impulsive choices. No rules are needed. Over the course of the week, this small habit begins to reshape decision-making. People notice they are less reactive around food. They pause more, they choose with intention instead of urgency. This is not because pistachios fix a behavior, but because stable blood sugar, reduced inflammation, and better digestion create the mental clarity needed for better choices. Health habits don't fail because people lack motivation. They fail because the body is overwhelmed. When the body feels safe and nourished, the brain stops pushing for quick rewards. Cravings soften. Emotional eating loses its edge. Choices become calmer and more rational. By day 5 or 6, many people realize something subtle. They trust themselves around food more. That trust is powerful. It breaks the cycle of guilt and control that so many people live in. Instead of constantly negotiating with hunger or suppressing cravings, people start listening to their bodies, and listening is a skill that grows with practice. Pistachios also reinforce the idea that health does not require perfection. Missing a day doesn't feel like failure. Eating a little more doesn't feel like losing control. The habit is flexible, forgiving, and sustainable. This is exactly how long-term change works. Another important aspect of this habit is identity. When someone eats pistachios daily as a conscious choice, they begin to see themselves as someone who cares for their health. Identity shapes behavior more than motivation ever could. I'm someone who makes small, healthy choices, is far more powerful than I'm trying to be disciplined. Over time, this identity expands. One good habit leads to another. Better snacks lead to better meals support better sleep supports better energy. The ripple effect is real, and it starts small. By the end of the week, pistachios no longer feel like an experiment. They feel normal, and when something healthy feels normal, it sticks. That's the difference between temporary improvement and lasting change. The final lesson of this entire speech is simple but profound. Health is built through consistency, not intensity. Pistachios don't demand attention. They don't promise miracles. They don't ask you to overhaul your life. They quietly show you that when you choose nourishment consistently, your body responds with cooperation instead of resistance. And that's the real transformation, not a number, not a trend, not a dramatic before and after, but a healthier relationship with food, with your body, and with yourself. One small habit, repeated daily, powerful over time. If you want next, I can. Combine all 6 expanded key points into one complete 30-35-minute speech. Create a U2. Ready SEO description, timestamps, hashtags, tags. Write a powerful opening hook. In closing, CDA, just tell me how you'd like to finish this project.